For many years, Keith Urban seemed like a happily married country icon living his best life. Beneath the surface, however, was more tragedy than anyone could have imagined. In 2025, Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman ended their 19-year marriage. A source told People magazine that Kidman didn't want the divorce and said that she had fought to save the marriage. Within 24 hours, reports surfaced that Kidman had filed for divorce in Nashville, Tennessee, with ABC News confirming that the former couple cited marital difficulties and irreconcilable differences as the reason for the split. Kidman and Urban worked out all of the nitty-gritty details of their separation, finalizing their divorce in January 2026. According to court documents obtained by People magazine, Kidman and Urban agreed to waive child and spousal support and paid their own legal fees. Beyond that, they agreed that Kidman would be the primary caregiver for their two daughters, Sunday and Faith, who would live with the actress for 309 days out of the year, leaving Urban to see his girls for a total of 59 days. Perhaps notably, Urban reflected on his goals for the year in a January 2026 interview with Dan Huff.
Simplifying is my journey this year.
As fans tried to figure out what went wrong between Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, rumors that Urban had engaged in an affair surfaced online. A few unconfirmed reports claim that Urban was romantically involved with his guitarist, Maggie Baugh. These rumors then kicked into high gear after TMZ shared a video of Urban's April 2025 performance at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, during which he tweaked the lyrics to his song The Fighter, essentially sending the internet into a tailspin. Singing the words, "I was born to love you," Urban pointed at Baugh. The two then embraced together on stage. In late October 2025, Urban spoke out about the rumors. He told the crowd at Nashville's Bridgestone Arena, "I've been covering like this for a long time. Stop reading into it." He went on to sing his hit song, "You'll Think of Me," again changing the lyrics at times. Meanwhile, country music singer Alexandra Kay spoke out about the rumors in an interview with Taste of Country. Adding that Baugh was already in a relationship and quite happy, she said, "Honestly, I was heartbroken for them because the media scrutiny is insane, and the things that people say. They're like stirring up rumors about Maggie Baugh, and I'm like, she's a good friend of mine, and I know that's absolutely not true." Keith Urban is no stranger to tour life, and he's been traveling around the world playing music since the beginning of his career. In 2025, however, he expressed a deep sadness that came from spending so much time out on tour.
It's a calling, and you're born to do it, or you're not going to make it.
On the CBS reality series The Road, Urban explained that it's easy to feel, in his words, miserable and sick when you're on tour, missing your friends and family.
And you say to yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
Urban's candid reflection gave fans a rare look into the emotional toll of tour life and how it can affect even the most experienced entertainer. While performing remains his passion, Urban made it clear that he knows all about the sacrifices of being away from your loved ones for an extended period of time. Keith Urban was born in New Zealand in October 1967, and his family relocated to Australia when he was just a toddler. His parents eventually settled in Brisbane, where they ran a small corner store and lived in a home behind the shop. Nicole Kidman told Glamour that Urban's childhood was anything but glamorous. He grew up on a farm, literally in a shed. They didn't have bedrooms. 4 of them lived in a shed. They have talked of a community that came and helped their family because they had nothing. Poverty was one thing, but Urban also had to deal with his father's addiction issues, which led to violence. Urban told Rolling Stone, "My dad was an alcoholic, and I grew up in an alcoholic's house. My recollection is that he was a physical disciplinarian. I don't recall him ever telling me he loved me as a kid." When Urban became a father himself, he confronted his dad, but his father couldn't remember any of it. "I don't think he was in denial. He genuinely had no recollection. Hitting you? I never did that." When Urban was just 9 years old, the family experienced another devastating hardship when their house burned down. While accepting the Artist Humanitarian Award from the Country Radio Broadcasters in 2016, he revealed that his family's love of country music helped pull them through. "We were all okay, but we lost all our belongings, which wasn't much, but it was everything we had. And without hesitation, our country music club immediately put on a fundraiser for us."
And I saw that community sort of philanthropic heart in action, and that definitely had a big impact on me of helping other people.
That experience molded Urban and contributed to his tendency toward philanthropy after he became a successful country star. In fact, whenever he's asked to explain or define what country music is, he finds himself being taken right back to that act of generosity. "The one thing I really believe to be true, no matter where you come from, is it's about community." Like his father, Keith Urban also experienced issues with substance abuse. As Urban explained in his 2016 interview with Rolling Stone, that became increasingly problematic once he moved to Nashville in the early 1990s. His drug usage took a turn when a roommate asked if he wanted to freebase cocaine. "And then one day he offered me this massive pipe. I'd never had it. It looked good, so I took it. Things didn't immediately go pear-shaped, but that was the beginning of it. As Urban encountered early frustrations while trying to launch his career in the country music capital of the world, that only served to fuel his usage of drugs and alcohol. I stepped up my drinking. I started doing more drugs. The whole back end of the 90s were just awful.
I have a tendency to get depressed to the point where I find solace in less than healthy things.
How bad did it get? According to Urban's one-time songwriting partner, Vernon Rust, his use of cocaine escalated to a truly shocking degree. In Rust's tell-all book, Fake News, he alleged that Urban once snorted more than $320,000 worth of cocaine, writing, "We lived in the studio. We did a lot of coke and stayed up for days." By the late 1990s, Keith Urban couldn't ignore the degree to which drugs and alcohol were ruling his life. He told Rolling Stone, "When I was on stage, I felt good. But if I was not on stage, I was very, very insecure. I felt like I didn't have much of anything to offer. I was just an alien." In order to recapture the feeling he had while on stage when he wasn't performing, he turned to cocaine and ecstasy. But eventually, the substances that once made him feel good only served to make him feel worse. Recognizing that he needed to make a change, he made the difficult decision to seek help. And in 1998, he checked himself into rehab and got sober. Speaking with The Times, Urban said he doesn't have any problem with other people enjoying whatever they want, but joked that he couldn't for legal reasons, if nothing else. "I just realized I'm allergic to it. Someone said, 'You have an allergy? What happens when you drink?' And I said, 'I break out in cuffs.'" In 2006, just a few months after marrying Nicole Kidman, Keith Urban suffered a relapse. While he never disclosed precisely what that entailed, it was serious enough that he checked himself into the Betty Ford Center. He said in a statement, "One can never let one's guard down on recovery, and I'm afraid that I have." He exited the facility after 3 months of treatment in January 2007, and subsequently revealed on his website why he chose to spend an extended amount of time in rehab. Learning about abstinence was one thing, but then there was all this other area of my life to start learning about. And so 30 days became 60, and 60 days became 90, and with each week that passed, I found myself really learning how to surrender. Given that he was a newlywed, just months into his marriage, the timing didn't seem great, but Urban later revealed to Andrew Denton's interview that it was Kidman who orchestrated his return to rehab. "My wife put an intervention together, and it was divine. I mean, divine intervention, but it's true, it really was. It was love in action, and the timing was absolutely divine."
The path that I'm on is, it's one I wished I could have been on a long time ago.
Keith Urban's live performances are characterized by high energy and good times. Sadly, a 2021 show in Ohio's Put-in-Bay turned tragic when Urban's longtime tour production manager, Randy Baja Fletcher, suffered a fatal accident prior to the start of the performance. According to the Port Clinton News-Herald, Fletcher fell off the stage and suffered critical injuries. He was airlifted to a nearby hospital, but died the following day. He was 72 years old. Following Fletcher's death, Urban issued a statement in tribute, writing, "Some people ask, are you a glass half full or a glass half empty kind of person? Baja's view was, what a beautiful glass. I loved him. We all loved him, and I'm grateful he chose us as his road family for 10 years. Celebrities are often chased by paparazzi, and those pursuits can sometimes become fraught. Keith Urban has certainly had his issues with paparazzi, and he's also experienced some frightening and potentially life-threatening situations because of them. In October 2007, Urban was driving his motorcycle to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in Sydney, Australia, when a photographer followed him, also riding a motorcycle. As Urban was being chased, he got into an accident while trying to avoid hitting an oncoming vehicle. Urban said in a statement, "While out riding to an AA meeting, a time when my privacy is especially important to me, I felt myself being pursued. I sped up, and in an effort to elude an oncoming car, which was making an illegal U-turn, saw no choice but to drop my bike." Luckily, Urban wasn't injured in the crash. He was also quick to give credit to the pursuing paparazzo for coming to his aid after the accident. In actual fact, my pursuer came to my assistance without taking photos and helped me from the road. I returned home, got my car, and continued on my way. Keith Urban was driving to a Los Angeles area charity gala in September 2014, where he was scheduled to perform when he received some terrible news. His father-in-law, Dr. Anthony Kidman, had died in a Singapore hotel room after suffering a fall. Urban immediately canceled the show and took a private jet to Nashville in order to be with his wife during her time of grief. He subsequently issued a statement of apology on Facebook for his 11th hour cancellation. "I'm so very sorry that I cannot perform this weekend. We are in a deep state of grief at the passing of Nick's father and are heading to Australia to be with the family. We want to thank everyone from the bottom of our hearts for their love, prayers, and support through this devastating loss." A few weeks later, Nicole appeared on NBC's Today and spoke with interviewer Maria Shriver about her father's unexpected death. She credited both her faith and her tight relationship with Urban for helping pull her through such a difficult time. I lost my father, which is a devastating thing for my family and myself right now. I'm lucky to have a rock of a husband and a strong faith. I have both those things. Keith Urban certainly had issues with his father, but their relationship wasn't all bad. It was his dad, Robert Urban, whom he credited with introducing him to country music when he was just a kid and to exposing him to the various musical influences that wound up shaping him as an artist. In late 2015, Keith dropped by the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum to check out an exhibit devoted to him. While being interviewed about the exhibit, he revealed that his father had been diagnosed with terminal cancer and was in hospice care. He's probably only got a few weeks, if that. I've just been dealing with that the last couple of days. This has all come at a very strange time where it's typical of a career that has extreme highs and extreme lows, all often at the exact same time. Keith's estimate was tragically far too optimistic. Just a few days later, he announced that Robert had died, saying in a statement to Us Weekly, his long battle with cancer is now over, and he is finally at peace. Keith Urban is unabashed about his tendency to cry regularly. In fact, he told Rolling Stone back in 2016 that he actually encourages himself to do it, more for his mental health than anything else. When I haven't cried in a while, I can tell I get pent up. Then maybe once a month I have a good cry, one big avalanche of a torrential downpour, and I feel amazing for weeks afterward. The streets are cleaned, the skies are blue, there's no humidity, and it's beautiful. According to Urban, it doesn't take a whole lot to make him break into tears. As he explains in an interview with Andrew Denton's Interview, his emotions continue to accumulate over things big and small. Eventually, he reaches a point at which he simply can't hold them back anymore, and the dam literally bursts. I mean, little things, the passing of time, kids growing up, the loss of friends, loved ones for all manner of reasons, all of it.